Hello everyone, I'm Sean and welcome back to the channel. I built this chest about a year ago for when I moved from Ireland over to England. I also filmed that whole process, so if you haven't seen those videos, make sure to go check them out. I'm going to leave a link in the description and all of that. In this video, I just want to have a quick chat about living with a tool chest as opposed to living off of a tool wall, which I also have, but when I was in Ireland, my workshop there, I was solely off a tool wall. And yeah, we're going to have a quick tour, look in all of the nooks and crannies of this chest and see what's inside. So make sure to get yourself a nice hot cup of tea, coffee, whatever you want, get nice and comfortable and enjoy. So living with the luthiers tool chest. Do I like it? That's the big question here, really, isn't it? And yes, I do. That's simple as. I find it's pleasant to work out of. I know where everything is. It's easy. It's clean. It's kind of organized, ish. But yeah, generally I do like it. I'm not every day sitting here going, "Oh, that damn chest." It's fine, unless I've got to move it. Then absolutely, it's that damn chest. But yeah, I think compared to a tool wall, because I now have experience of, I've been using this for a full year, and before that I had several years using a tool wall only. The tool wall, I really liked it. You have that at a glance and that first order retrieval. I don't have to lean down and open doors and find this and remember where that is and all of that faff. But at the same time, it's really clean and organized when you see a chest just like this. It's closed, it's empty, it's tidy. Yeah, it also takes up an awful lot of less space. If I was to have this chest expanded to a wall, it would take this entire wall that's beside me, which you can't see it, but this is not even a third of the wall. And yeah, so a couple of pros and cons, which I've taken the liberty to write down in case I forget them. Yeah, some couple of good pros of this is mobility. Being here, I am not working in my own workshop. This is a shared space, a shared workshop, and every now and again I need to move my bench. Hopefully not again for another little while, but the fact that I have the chest, I pack everything into it and then I just put it onto a furniture mover and bring it to the other end of the room. It's super easy. If I had to do that with a tool wall, I'd spend a whole day taking the wall down and then a whole other day putting it back up again. It's ridiculous. So for mobility, and the fact that I drove from Ireland to England with the chest in the back of the car, that would have been a nightmare was I working out of solely a tool wall. So mobility, absolute pro. I've organized written down here with a big question mark beside it, which you'll see later when we go through all of the drawers and everything. It definitely looks organized from out here, and yeah, I mean, that's good enough, and I do know where everything is. It's just, I didn't go for a French fit or anything inside of it, so it is kind of everything thrown in. For those of you who don't know French fitting, that's where you essentially put foam in and then do cutouts of all the tools and everything, and it fits in beautifully and perfectly. Looks fabulous. You see it a lot with socket sets, that kind of thing, but that would not have worked for me. I have too much stuff, and there's so much stuff interlocking and on top of each other, and no, would not have worked. So centralized and secure are my next two things, where centralized, obviously, everything is compacted nicely into a small footprint, easy to get to, all of that. I don't have stuff everywhere, except for this wall I have beside me. And secure. I guess it's secure. It's a lot less prone to people coming up and just grabbing stuff out of it. If I had a tool wall and someone said, "Oh, I need to borrow that," I'll just grab it. Whereas the chest, it's like they have to at least ask me. So I'm going to say secure. Now, cons. So there's the at a glance kind of concept here where I look at this, I don't know what I have. I don't know if stuff has gone back. I don't know if I've somehow put it in the wrong drawer or anything. So there is that at a glance, whereas with a tool wall, for example here, I know if my marking gauge is missing, well, it's not on the wall, so it's missing. So that at a glance concept, I'm missing that with the chest. But I don't mind that too much, because generally I know where everything is in this. Limited space is the next one, which could be seen as a pro, depending on who you are or what your partner thinks about your tool addiction. I am definitely limited in the space and the amount of tools I can have here, but this is important. I have designed this top tool well so that I can fit an entire series of Stanley 8 down to 1 planes in there and still have a couple of saws down one end. So I thought ahead a bit there. When I get that number 8, it fits. So, but yeah, definitely puts a limit to the amount of tools that I can buy and have and lust after, I guess. And then oversized stuff. I just put stuff in. Fine. The likes of these paring gouges and chisels, and I have leveling beams and rulers and stuff. That doesn't really fit. It's oversized. It would have taken up half the chest if I tried to squeeze them in there. So it does kind of need a supplement, which is a little bit annoying. But that is it for my list of pros and cons on that. So a couple of them there. Most of them are just space related, really, aren't they? But yeah, compared to a tool wall, I like the chest. It's interesting. I know a lot of people have said, you know, drawers are where tools go to die, but I don't agree with that at all. Not if it's a working tool chest like this. And you have the added bonus of every now and again you go through a drawer and it's like, ooh, new toys that I have forgotten about. So maybe tools do go there to die. Anyway, let's get to the bit I'm sure a couple of you guys are looking for. Let's open the chest, have a look, see what's inside, and yeah, we'll just have a chat about what tools I have and what tools I use. So let's start in the most natural place, the main till, the main well, I guess you would call it, with obviously saws in the lid, because yeah, let's straighten that guy up. I need to adjust that holder, and I keep looking at it for the last several months that that needs to be adjusted. Just brought a little closer. So all of these guys have these nice holders and magnets there, and there to hold the actual plate in as well. I really like it, but this guy is really, really big and kind of falls out a little bit. So adjustments required. And then, yeah, planes. Most people's favorites. Well, no, that's a bit presumptuous of me, but definitely some of my favorite tools. As I said, this is designed to hold a number 8 snugly. One thing we're missing from here is my number 3, which is my granddad's number 3, and one which I'm in the middle of restoring at the moment. And you can expect a video on that at some stage. I'm not going to say soon. Yeah, again, this is ever evolving. This is another of my absolute favorites. Every time I see it, I just like it. This is, again, another one of my granddad's planes, the number 71. And yeah, it doesn't have a huge amount of use, but every now and again, I need to use this, and there is no other tool that does the job. And yeah, fabulous little thing. What else is in here? I've been collecting these tiny little tiny rebate planes. Very, very handy for doing channels for binding on guitars. Well, on guitar necks at least. Yeah. And this is one gets a lot of attention by other people. Funny enough, just a little eBay job. But it's a fabulous little plane after a little bit of work. Yeah. And there's another little rebate. I love these shoulder planes. I think they just look fabulous. This one is obviously in need of some restoration. But yeah, we'll get around to it. Okay, let's move on to some drawers. We'll start on the left-hand side. This is probably one of the most used drawers. All of my marking, layout, pencils, that kind of stuff. And it's funny enough, this is the first tool I ever made. Everyone called it a spear, but it's a marking gauge, marking knife, in fact. So for joinery, you need something that is finer than a pencil line, and that is a blade. So yeah, this is probably one of the if not the most used drawer in this whole chest. And top, front and center, well, it's not front and center at all, is it? But yeah, easily accessible. Anything on then is just a flat one. I have blocks and cauls. They're good for sanding, more sanding, but basically these are some of the most useful tools you can make. It's a piece of MDF with some sandpaper stuck to it. Super handy. And just stuff. I'm going to hide that, I don't think. There we go. Nobody saw that. Moving on. And this is a funny one. So this is my oopsie whoopsie drawer. These are all different dusts. So when you make a mistake, we use these a lot with the students. Not a lot, that sounds very bad. We use these the odd time with students when they need to. It's really good as inlay powder if you need different colors, or if you know, make a mistake and there's a chunk comes out of your neck or something, you bit of dust and glue and hope for the best. I also have anything that needs to have handles on it. Pliers, grabbers, cutters. I'm not actually delighted about having them there at the moment. I think they're very messy. They'll probably come out at some stage, but for now, that's where they live. And then this one looks a lot worse than it is. Basically Dremel, that, and refills. So I have blades for my Dremel, I have pencil lead, extra saw blades. Yeah. And this one is my oversized drawer, which most of the stuff here is not oversized. French curves on the side, they actually are oversized. They don't fit in any other drawer. This lovely little vise that I use for whenever I have to carve nuts or anything. Big joiner's mallet. That again was my granddad's. It's a beautiful, heavy, I think it's a Cocobolo head on it. Really, really, really nice carver's mallet. And then just kind of random stuff in here. This is a bit of a stuff drawer, but hey, you always have to have them. Moving on to this side, first bank of chisels. So these are the chisels I mainly use back at home. They're actually Aldi chisels that I've done some work on, kind of, you can see, just made them flat off the edge. They're quite comfortable now. Really cool inlay chisels that were done by Crimson Guitars, but no longer. They've been discontinued, but I have a stash of them. Super handy for that really fine inlay work. But they have a habit of breaking, which I think is why they're discontinued. If you're heavy-handed with them at all, because they're so thin. This one, for example, it's only 1 millimeter thin. Very, very easy to break. But yeah, really, really handy things. Let's move on. This is kind of a cool drawer. So some carving stuff, files, obviously spoke shaves, and thumb planes. Thumb planes I think I want to move at some stage, but for now this is where they're living. Most of these guys are functional. They're all, again, cheap eBay finds. And for example, these ones, the mouths were really tight on them. You can even see it, this one doesn't quite fit properly. But after a little bit of work, a little bit of sharpening and honing, these are fabulous little thumb planes. I think they're really, really good. But they do not work out of the box. Ooh, and this guy, check this out. Look how small this is. I don't know if this is user made. It could be, but it's just fantastic. I've used this to plane down binding on the sides of guitar necks, and yeah. This comes out every now and again with the students, and it always gets out all the students going, ooh, look at this. Because it's just really cool. It's so cute. Yeah, next guy. More chisels, rasps, a couple of gouges and that. You may notice a lack of gouges in this chest. It's something I'm getting into recently. I've been trying to go for Ashley Isles stuff because I really, really, really like it. At some stage, I am lusting after a set of the Ashley Isles dovetail chisels. I really, really want to get a set of unhandled ones and yeah, create handles. Don't know why, it's in my head and I want to do it. And yeah, the Ashley Isles stuff seems really, really good. Delighted with these gouges anyway. My main chisels are these guys. which are a set of very old iSorby Mr. Punch brand. You can see the little guys, a little jester kind of a thing. That's the Mr. Punch brand. They're very, very nice chisels. They're a little bit short at the moment though. Yeah. We've got this behemoth that somebody had sharpened a back bevel on. And if you know your chisels, you don't have a back bevel. So that one is in need of restoration. Next up. Yeah, this one's a little bit empty. I have to make note of that. There's space to be filled. Brushes, you never know how handy little artist brushes are until you don't have them. Great. Cleaning. Ooh, a little pin vise. So this is a set I found. You can see little twist bits, 0.3 to 1.6 millimeter. And a little pin vise to have them in. This is another one of those, you don't need it 99% of the time, but every now and again, you've done aluminium ring side dots that are 2 mil with a center that's whatever, and you need to clean them out. And that's where this guy comes in handy. And yeah, really cool. And then nut slotting files. Simple as, bog standard. I also have a couple of reamers in here. They're always handy to have. Oh no. We'll just cut that out.
You could put that in as a con.
Con, yeah. Drawers fall out sometimes if you're not careful. They never come out this far. Right, next drawer. So we've hammers, mallets. This guy, because annoyingly, the end on it is too wide to fit in most of the other drawers that I would want to put it in here with marking and measuring, but it doesn't fit because of the end of it. But it's a really, really nice haul. What is interesting in here? Well, drills. Almost defunct now, but they are really handy, especially this guy. Super handy if you ever have to pilot holes for tuners. Funny enough, I love to use this guy because you can so accurately drill just that little bit. Yeah, absolutely make sure you don't go through the headstock. Now, anything else interesting? Ooh, I have these. Some of the biggest waste of money I've ever had. These are concave fret dressing files. Fret crowning files, in fact. Biggest waste of money. They are kind of cool at first, but then you realize, hold on a minute, they are a fixed radius on the top. So as soon as you level some frets, they don't match this fixed profile anymore. So either you do it too tight and you just kind of make a mess of the profile of your fret, or too flat and you just take the top off the fret. I get asked about them all the time, and I take great pleasure is not the word in telling people that I actually have a set of these things. They cost me 85 or 90 euros. I don't remember what it was. I used them maybe once, realized the error of my way, and they live here as a constant reminder of money wasted. Oops. And lastly, I have my sharpening drawer. So also a big block of candle wax, because that is always handy to have when using a hand plane. Strop, leveling diamond file, and whetstones. I actually don't use this very much anymore. I have now swapped to hand sharpening. So I do all my sharpening just by hand, kind of finding that angle, going for it. Simply because of ease. It's so much quicker to do it. I still really like the honing guide, but when you've got about 30 seconds on the stones by hand versus the setup time on this, it's kind of tough to justify it. These are kind of cool. Well, they're probably not that cool, but I kind of like them. The little profiled ceramic sharpening stones. Sometimes they're just really, really cool to use. For that quick sharpen on a gouge or something, they work pretty well. And I really like the little leather pouch they're in. But yeah. Let's get up off this ground. Oh! So yeah, that is my chest. That's what I work out of. Then obviously, as I said, supplemented with a little bit of wall space and this. I'm just not going to talk about that. Just, yeah, shelves are the real place the tool's going to die. Nightmare. It's cold today. Right, but yeah, that is it for this chest. No, that is it for this video. The chest lives on. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the little insight into what I'm working out of, and maybe it proves useful for yourself. Maybe if you're moving, now you feel better about having a chest instead of relying on the tool wall. So, thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Like, subscribe, all of that good stuff, and I'll see you all again real soon.